Scuba diving. I'm Steve Ember and I'm Barbara Klein with Exploration in VOA Special English. Today we explore the clear blue water around the island of the Bahamas to learn about the exciting sport of scuba diving. The word scuba stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Knowing how to dive opens up an entry underwater world of coral, fish, other creatures. Join us as we learn the basic of diving, talk to an expert, and say hello to a shark. Imagine swimming in clear blue water as you look at small, brightly colored fish and the swirling shaft of coral organized. The underwater world is quiet except for the sound of your breathing. You when breathe out, you see many shining air bubbles floating upward towards the surface of the water. Since humans are not designed to see and breathe underwater, scuba diving requires several pieces of important equipment. Scuba divers must wear a mask in order to be able to see underwater. The mask creates an airspace that protects the eyes and nose. Scuba diver breathe with to help of regulator, which bring air to the mouth when they inhale. The regulator is attached to an air tank that is placed on the diver back. There is an extra regulator called an octopus, which is used in case of emergency situation. Diver also wear a BCD or a buoyancy control device. To control how much they float off sign, a pressure gauge device tells diver how much air is left in the air tank, or a dive computer can calculate how much air is left as well as a diver depth and the length of time he or she can stay underwater. Divers wear scuba fins on their speed to help them move easily and quickly through the water. Many divers also wear a wetsuit in order to stay warm underwater. To learn how to use this equipment, it helps to go to dive school. Becoming a certified diver requires taking 3 years of lesson. New diver must learn about the physical and safety of diving, and they must practice diving skill first in a closed water area and then on actual beginner divers. Several organizations offer official diving certification. Scuba diving for fun first became possible with the development of the aqualung by Janus Coston and Emil Gagnon in the early 1940s. In the United States, articles in a popular magazine about Coston and his underwater exploration method helped bring attention to scuba diving. Because of the cost of the equipment, diving did not become a widely available sport until years later. Taking diving class and becoming certified are important for knowing how to dive safely. For example, you need to know how to put a regulator back in your mouth if it falls out underwater, and you need to know how to clear your mics if it fills with water. There are many other safety issues to consider when diving. For example, where going down deeper in the water, a diver must be careful to equalize the pressure in his or her ear. This is done by holding the nose and blowing very gently. Otherwise, the extreme pressure from the surrounding water can cause damage to the middle ear and sinus. Decompression sickness is a major concern to diver. The deeper a diver goes, the more pressure the surrounding water puts on the volume of the air inside his or her lungs. And the deeper a dive, the more nitrogen gas goes into the diver blood. For safety reasons, a diver must measure the length of his or her dive based on its depth so as not to exceed a safe amount of nitrogen absorption. When divers return to the water surface, they must continue to breathe and rise no faster than the air bubble around them. For very deep divers, they must stop and decompress at certain level. This way, the highly pressured air in the diver lung has time to lift the body before expand. If a diver rises to the surface too quickly, he or she can become extreme all with decompressed sickness, also known the bands. Another important aspect to diving is having a buddy system. By having a diving partner, you can watch over one another and help each other if there is an accident. One important diving rule is to never touch any of the sea life. This rule is both to protect the diver and to protect the underwater environment. For example, tree in a recent fire coral reefs saved in NEM. This kind of coral causes a painful burning feeling if touched. A diver could also be cut by touching a sharp pieces of coral. Coral may seems hard like stone, but it actually a very fragile organism. It can be damaged if divers touch or stand on it. In order to protect the beautiful coral reef system, divers must treat them with care. Tito Bowin, I think everyone take a different experience away from diving. I think what they love about diving could be the color of the ocean, could be the peacefulness, it could be gamut of things. Everyone is different. That was Tito Bowen, a research diver from the Bahamas who has been diving for almost 30 years. He has done everything from diving to explore underwater shipwreck to divers 80-meter deep. It might not surprise you to know Tito Bowen's favorite place in the world to dive. Tito Bowen anywhere in the Bahamas because the Bahamas is probably the most beautiful water. The future south you get away from civilization, Port Georgetown down to the Plana Cay, Hogstey, Little Inagua where it turns by humans. It just vibrant, alive. You've got pretty good extreme diving, you've got good walls, you got good tunnel and covers. There work everything you could be possible imagine. The diver site known as Danger Reef is just south of Indigo Island. The water there was very rough, but once you flip backward off the boat and enter the water, you enter a calm and colorful world. The main purpose of this dive was to see the many Caribbean reef sharks that gather in this area. The sharks have a rounded and short nose and big round eyes. They eat mainly brown fish. And fully grown female Caribbean reef shark measure about 2 to 3 meter, while a grown male measure 1.5 meter or more in lake. It is very exciting and a little bit strange diving among the sharks. You feel a thought you should be afraid, even though the sharks are not aggressive at all. The sharks just swim around, watching what is going on around them. At Danger Reef, there were also many large Nashua grouper and yellow-fin grouper fish. If you float above the large coral formation, you can examine the smaller critters swimming the reef. The bright yellow, the purple fish called the fairy brightly look like small swimming jelly. Many kinds of fish swim in out of the brine coral, elkhorn coral, and sea fans, which wave gently with the current. Back on the boat, we asked Tito Bawin more about the safety of diving with sharks. Tito Bawin, when you get in the water with sharks, people are automatically scared because they seem jaw. They've seen all these crazy movies. But sharks are just like every other animals in the water. They are petrified on human beings. We were 2 feet away from 5-foot shark and they were just kind of screaming around us like everything else in the water. Their groupers were close to us. The sharks were close to us. The yellow-tailed were close to us. They're kind of curious, and they more afraid of us than we are of them. There are many other beautiful places around the world to dive. Scuba Diving magazine recently listed several of the must-see diving cities. Thus includes Bonaire, one of the Netherlands, at this island off the coast of Venezuela. Here, diver can explore many reefs within a protected marine park. Diver can even explore the sea creatures that live in around the ship. Hilma Hooker, the 70-meter-long cargo ship sank over 20 years ago. Off the coast of Baja California in Mexico, divers can see large sea creatures like shark, giant manta ray, and dolphin. Scuba Diving magazine also recommend the Fiji Island in the South Pacific Ocean. Many divers go here to see grey reef shark of hammerhead shark. In Australia, divers can explore many interesting areas, including the Great Barrier Reef. It is the largest coral reef system in the world, measuring over 2,000 kilometers its length. This extraordinary natural foundation offers many exciting dive possibilities. Also, in Australia, the Cod Hole diving area of the Ribbon Reef is famous for its large potato coveys. And at the lighthouse Bumi site, divers can swim with immense whales. Scuba diving in any of these places is an extraordinary experience. This popular activity allows people to see an expensive and exciting underwater world in a new way. This program was reading and production by Dana Demek and Steve Amber, and I'm Barbara Klein. To see picture of the dive in the Bahamas, visit our website voaspecialenglish.com. Join with us again next week for exploration in the VOA